Tomorrow marks my 6th YouTube anniversary. On March 30th, 2012, I created the Mumbo Jumbo YouTube channel, and since then, I've been making Minecraft videos pretty much every single day, which is fairly ridiculous when you think about it. So I thought to celebrate this, I would try my best to recreate my first ever Redstone video. Methods in Minecraft, piston elevators. Now, the way that this video is going to work is we're going to start off with the easy designs, then we're going to move into the tricky designs, and then we're going to move into the professional designs, and then we'll get towards TNT time, a feature that used to be in a lot of my Redstone videos back in the day, and one that I definitely think I should bring back. That sounds like quite a lot of fun. Anyway, the first design that we're going to be taking a look at in today's video actually requires the latest snapshot to function with the new water mechanics, but it's really simple and really fast. It's called the water elevator, and if we just walk through this iron door right here, you can see we stand on top of the soul sand and just shoot right the way up to the surface and get launched out on top. I mean, how easy is that? We've got a 3x3 area of water. You just extend up the water tube as high as you want to go, and then you put the soul sand down at the bottom, and you have yourself a pretty quick elevator. I mean, that's not slow. Really, really easy to build, and it looks quite nice. I mean, can you imagine that going up into the sky, into like some kind of UFO crazy sky base? It would look fantastic. Anyway, now that we're out of the snapshot, I've actually been able to install the texture pack that I used for my first Redstone video, and you know what? I actually quite like it. Moving on, the second simple elevator that we're going to be taking a look at in today's video is probably one of the most famous elevators in Minecraft. I mean, everyone knows how to build these things, and this was actually featured in the original Redstone video that I made, so that shows how reliable it is. All we've got is a line of blocks going up to the top. We then have minecarts placed on top of ladders surrounded in blocks, and that means that they stay in place and we can just hold down the right click button and shoot right the way up to the top. It's incredibly fast. It's relatively cheap if you don't count the minecarts, but most importantly, it's extremely quick to build. You could go right the way from bedrock all the way up to sky limit, get it done in probably about 30 minutes. And if you are wondering how you get the minecarts there, all you have to do is place a block, place a minecart rail, then place in the minecart and break the block, and the minecart will drop down and land on top of the ladders. It's as simple as that. By the way, it took me so long to work out what all these items are because I don't recognize any of them. But wow, these elytra look amazing. I'm like a biplane. I shouldn't be making a video about the texture pack. Look, let's get back to the redstone. Okay, moving on to the tricky designs for today's video here. The first one is called the simplest piston elevator in Minecraft. Now, this is one of my personal favorites. I just love the way that this thing works, and it pretty much is what it says. It's a very, very simple piston elevator. All you have to do is place in a redstone block on top of the piston that is down at the bottom, and then you ride it up to the surface, and when you get to the top, you break the redstone block, and there we go. That's it. It's super simple to use, but more importantly, it blows my mind that this thing even functions, because all it is just lines of redstone next to sticky pistons which are facing across with pistons facing upwards, and that somehow comes together with the powering of the redstone block to create a coherent piston elevator. I love this thing. It's probably one of my favorite redstone creations. It's now time for the second tricky elevator of today's video, this one being the Bouncy piston elevator. This one relies on slime blocks and minecarts to function. Now, if you just hop inside and hit this button, you can see we make our way up to the top. Not exactly quickly. I mean, it's not the fastest piston elevator I've ever made. It's probably actually one of the slowest. But the good thing about this design is that it's reliable on Minecraft servers. Reason being, these minecarts here. Minecarts are really cool for servers because, well, the player position, me, isn't calculated exactly by the server. The server kind of knows where you are, but is not 100% accurate. There's a little bit of leeway there, and when you're working with slime blocks and timings and things like that, sometimes that can mess things up and you can be launched out of the elevator and often fall to your death. It's not a good way to go. Whereas minecarts are calculated exactly by Minecraft servers. So the server knows exactly where that minecart is, which means that if you're using it with slime blocks and things, it will always reliably work 100% of the time because it's always going to be behaving in the same way. So that's just a little bit of a fun fact for you. I don't know if that was actually very fun. It was a lot of talk about numbers and player locations and server locations. This is about as boring as you can possibly get. Alright, let's leave behind all the boring stuff and get on to the professional level designs. And I know what you're thinking, this design looks simpler than this design. You're probably correct. In fact, this design also looks more simple than this design, which begs the question, why is that design over there and not here? And why is that design not over there? And yeah, it doesn't really make much sense, but the good news is that I'm recreating my first ever redstone video, so it doesn't need to make sense. It's supposed to be bad. Anyway, let's pop inside and let's make use of this thing. All we have to do is stand on top of the stair, hit the button, and we make our way up to the top. Now, I have drastically improved this design from the one that I featured in my original first redstone video. It is considerably faster and also quite a lot simpler as well. Now, this spiral staircase vortex elevator concept actually originally came from Etho in his survival multiplayer series, and he originally built it much simpler than this because he produced it back in the day when pistons could actually push you with the face of them. You didn't need to have blocks in the front of them, the piston arm was good enough, but unfortunately times have changed and now we need to have blocks on the front of these sticky pistons, which means that it's added a little bit of bulk, but as you can see, all we have to do is run a redstone line round the outside of that central chamber, and that will push all of the elevators inwards as you go up, forcing you to go up the stairs, getting you to the top nice and quickly. And the good thing about this design is that you also have a downwards function as well. You just walk back down the stairs. For those of you who are super professional at Minecraft, you give up on elevators. You don't build any of this nonsense. Instead, you build flying machines. If we hit this button right here, we will just begin to float up into the sky, and the bricks will begin to change their textures, which is... It's a little bit strange. I've never really seen that before. It's actually got me a little bit worried about the structural integrity of this build. But aside from that, this thing works perfectly. It's a really, really simple little flying machine, two-way flying machine involving observers, sticky pistons, and slime blocks. And I make use of them a lot on the Hermitcraft server. And if you're wondering what this redstone up at the top here is, this is just the return circuitry. So the way that it works is this observer right here, yes, believe it or not, that is an observer, will detect the flying machine coming in. It will then send a redstone pulse through all of these repeaters right here, which will update one of the observers on the flying machine, sending it back down. Okay, I think that just about wraps everything up in terms of all of the elevators featured in today's video. If you want to know how to build any of these things, I'll put links to their tutorials down in the description so that you can check them out for yourselves. But now it's on to the most important part of the video, TNT time. So I guess all I have to do is just a little bit of this. Okay, TNT there, TNT there. Right, this one should look pretty interesting. Now, back in the original video, I think that was back in the days when you could just punch TNT to have it ignited, but unfortunately, we need to make use of a flint and steel. Hey, that was pretty good. We destroyed the first one and also half of the second one. Right, let's keep going. And ignite! Number 2 is going up as well. Oh, that TNT was a precision missile to the bottom of that design. Right, okay. I'm kind of bored of placing the TNT around these things. I think we should do something a little bit more special. Old meets new. Laser cannon. Right, this should all be fully lined up. So all we have to do is head round the back right here, hit this button, and I am ready. I don't even think it's going to cause that much damage. I like watching it work. It's so funny to see. We just removed the bottom half of that entire piston elevator. It just disappears. Okay, I'm gonna go back to placing in TNT now. This should do the trick, rounding everything off and destroying all of the remaining contraptions. I hope. Not quite. I mean, we still have some TNT left. I did think that we were going to get it all in one, but let's just ignite that one. And, oh, we don't even have any TNT up here. Let's quickly work on that. There we go. All of the redstone contraptions that we built in today's redstone video have now been removed in a segment called TNT time. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking when I invented this back in the early days of my YouTube channel, but you know what? I kind of quite like it in a way. Anyway, I think that just about wraps everything up for today's recreation redstone video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and before I go, of course, I just want to say a massive thank you for all of the support that you guys have shown me over the past 6 years. Whether you're new or old, perhaps you've been subscribed for the full 6 years, that would be pretty insane, but it's been crazy. I mean, to think that we're at 2.1 1 million subscribers, and we've had over 500 million views in that space of time. Like 500 million individual views. That is... Oh, it takes the brain a long time to process those sorts of numbers. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please sure to that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.